The business sector believes the repeal of the Epira law is not the answer to the problem of high power costs and supply. Now, the Epira law is presently under review by the lower house. This report.
The move to reform or repeal the Epira law has divided the consensus in the House. The House Energy Committee, chaired by Congressman Rinaldo Umali, started hearings on several proposed measures to include the repeal of the law and renationalize the power sector. Among the movers is S.M.E's Congressman Henry Waminal. Waminal said the current power supply of Mindanao is not sufficient to cover its growing demand. It has triggered rotating brownouts and sourcing power from private sources other than those provided by PSALM led to more expensive electricity costs of consumers. Another issue was raised against the National Grid Corporation. Waminal said it has paid lower taxes compared to what was collected by the government when the National Transmission Commission in control.
The purpose of the Epira law is, first is there should be a transfer of technology to improve power services at lower cost. Now, how will you see improvement of power services when we in Mindanao is experiencing a 7 to 9 hours rotating burnout at a higher cost?
However, the business sector is not convinced the Epira's repeal is the solution to high power costs and supply. Although it's a major concern which hampers the entry of foreign direct investments, Makati Business Club President Ramon Del Rosario stressed full implementation of the law is the solution. The implementation of the open access provision ensured the Energy Regulatory Commission will fulfill its mandate of regulation as provided for in the law. Del Rosario said it's the business of the private sector to invest in power generation, and in 3 years, an additional 1,500 megawatts will be provided by new power plants to fuel economy's growth.
We think the Epira law is basically a good law, and we think opening it up for amendments at this time will create instability in the regulatory framework for energy. What is really important now is to encourage investors to invest in the power sector. And if you have uncertainty in what will regulate the power sector, then those investments will either be delayed or will be canceled. That's our greatest fear. And that's why we think that the more correct approach and more correct response is to actually fully enforce the Epira. Because
the issue of a supply constraint is something that I think we should be mindful of, especially if we're going to be looking at 7% growth in GDP. You need power as a very basic input to the economy.
For the People's Television Network, this is Freddie Abando reporting.